Now, hello,
Drat.
and welcome to Jarviskjir Mind Over Matter, here on Wednesdays on twitch.tv/OllyRant. The continued exploration of the underrealm of Jarviskjir and its sundries. We're all here, much to my surprise. We nearly weren't all. And honestly, we're gonna be doing some dungeon crawling, and it's gonna be pretty hype. We don't really, actually, we can have a pretty hefty recap because the reason, well, I was gonna say the reason why you're in a dungeon is pretty interesting. It's not.
There was a dungeon.
There was a dungeon. You decided to go into it, but
Yeah.
We thought about taking the spiderkin back to the woman who hired us, but instead, Ian threw his hands in the air and was like, "Whee!"
Hey, can I point out, it was primarily Tumulus who wanted us to go in.
Okay.
it was definitely a joint Ian and Neil effort, regardless of what the characters wanted to do.
I don't think you can blame it on Tumulus. He's dead. I actually think that's disrespectful, Ashal.
Hey, you can't blame it on Ashal. They were mind controlled. Also, Ollie, I do just want to alert you that I've just got a blue square in the middle of this part of the dungeon.
You're gonna need to reload that.
Noted.
That is a glitched out animation effect. No, yeah, but that's all client side.
Okay. Good to know.
I had it last week. I just ignored it.
Yeah, if you ever see that is an animation getting bugged. Which
it's working.
They're new to Roll20, so when they're transparent, there's problems. But chat can't see that yet because we haven't even done the recap yet. We got distracted. You found the trail of the missing spider folk. They are semi-happily living there under the guidance of the Mad Priestess, a once very influential woman in Narashiro who has ascended but into a much more monstrous form than the form of other Driders or Oshun. Clearly unhinged. You guys are trying to kind of get to the bottom of that, trying to see whether you can trust her, kind of overseeing the Spiderkin, and eventually to discover that the ruin, the fanged ruin that they are basically squatting on, has a very, very dark past. You are now exploring the Fanged Asylum. This place has some kind of connection to the realm of shadows, the Uhaga. Something that Ashal has already done some weird magic tinkering with in trying to communicate with the ruin, essentially, trying to understand it. In delving into the ruin, Ashal actually got possessed by a weirding scroll, a scroll of usurper elf flesh that had been enchanted to protect this place with all this script upon it. With that possession fixed, you can continue exploring the dungeon. This front area, to describe it to you again, is actually brightly lit due to the glowing orbs of dark elf magic that are floating around the main entrance gate. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys were trying to decide whether you wanted to go through the gate, and then Ashar got possessed.
And was way too enthusiastic about
Hey!
attacking us.
Well,
Possession's one hell of a drug.
I do remember at some point in last week the term "the Age of Fang" or something similar.
Yes, this ruin dates back to the Age of Fang.
Does that mean anything to Ashal?
You can give me a history check.
The fan on my laptop's going insane. And
Yeah, it'll do that. I can lower some of the stress soon.
Fuck it.
That was my mentality. 22 history. That's really good. So this is actually quite an obscure thing for you to know, as Charles, because the Age of Fang is a usurper elf age. There would be very little reason for your people to really know about it, because your people didn't really interact with usurper elves until relatively recently. But essentially, according to all known laws of aviation, a bee should not be able to fly. But additionally, according to all known histories, usurper elves came to the Underrealm from the surface. A lot of differing reasons why. When they came down here, they settled. They settled in Narashiro because there's an abundant water source under Narashiro. That's why the city is there specifically. Directly after they started trying to settle that area, just a massive... Civil war isn't even the right term. It was just an age of destabilization, called the Age of Fang. The aftermath of the Age of Fang is the society of Narashiro and the Usurper Elves that continued. It also contains other species, like the Spiderkin. They were connected to the Age of Fang. Their sort of place almost now as like squatters and wanderers is due to events in that age and all that sort of thing. It's basically set everything in motion, which makes the Usurper Elves so much more different than the elves on the surface because of this extra age of violence. A lot of Usurper Elf histories and families kind of date back to that sort of time, especially some samurai houses who were either started to kind of like keep the peace or the other thing, you know. It's a pretty interesting age, but there's not a lot of information about it. Because when there is an age of destabilization, any histories recorded of it are usually destroyed. So this building being from that age, not all that weird. It does mean that there could be any kind of obscure knowledge here. It also means knowledge about this place is also obscure. That makes sense why the ruin itself wasn't even on any maps. And why it hasn't really been explored or delved. Yeah. Good
Excellent.
check. Yeah.
Excellent. More esoteric knowledge. I can make a collection of it across all of my characters until one day I have it all.
Until one day you format it onto the Jarviskjir wiki so that everyone can learn about it together.
Yeah, Ian.
That depends on which of my characters I'm playing, whether they want to share knowledge or whether they want to hold it.
Jarviskjir Wiki is looking for contributors, by the way. Jesus Christ, I don't want to do it all by myself. So, Ashal tried to attack you all possessed and then just took a moment to think. You actually already talked about it and were like, it's okay.
Yeah, we chastised him.
Yeah.
And then he cried and we let him off.
So,
But I'm in one of the cages that are around here.
You do have an abundance of cages. What do you guys want to do next?
Let's go into the ruin. I mean, we're in the entrance to a ruin. What else is there to do than go into the ruin? Unless someone wants to talk about
You
something.
wonder why the majority of your characters are dead.
It's not the majority.
It's not the majority anymore. We bumped the numbers up.
Yeah, that's why
The
Ian
birth
makes so
rate
many
has
characters.
surpassed the death rate.
Yeah.
It's like a rabbit.
There was a period where it was where I lost like 3 characters in like 6 months or something stupid.
Yeah. So to remind you, the entrance to this ruin is basically this like wall of chain. It's all warded. There's like scrolls of symbols over it, and that's creating this field of light magic as well. The symbols glow with blue. The wall of chain.
Will ooze green slime.
Not yet, anyway. Stop reading ahead in the script. How do you wanna, do you wanna just kind of like hack it down? Do you wanna try and fiddle around for an opening?
Before we do anything, there are symbols on this. I'm going to go out on a limb. So I'm going to do this from a distance. I'm not going up and touching them. I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that they're symbols of maybe warding or containment or something.
Yeah,
You don't want to listen at the door.
You don't need to really do a check for just that kind of basic thing. Yeah, this is the same. It's actually similar to what we're writing on the warding scroll, the weirding scroll. It's messages of keep out, essentially, in a lot of other languages, and the messages themselves have some magic, but mostly due to tradition. Right? If you know that carving this symbol into the wall will give it some kind of protective magic, the fact that it's magical kind of fades over time, but it still gives actual protective effect. It's a bit of that.
So, at a guess, it would be safe for us just to open to go through.
But it
not
cannot be
dangerous.
repaired once this is a sealant, right? Once you open the hatch,
Yeah.
it's open.
For anything to come out after us and be leased into the world.
Or in.
As Charles would say, these chains and the symbols act as a seal. It poses no danger to us if we open them. But if we go in, we will need to ensure that whatever is contained here does not have free reign to leave when we do. If we do.
Could I put something like protect from good or evil on the door to make sure that...
I don't think you can cast that
Spiders.
on... I don't think you can cast that on objects. But that's definitely a thing that is, like, theoretically possible, but not right now. We could do a thing like Ashal did, where it's like, yeah, Ashal doesn't know a spell on how to turn an ethereal thing into a material thing, but it was a ritual you did over time. Like, maybe when you leave this place, before you leave, you can do a ritual that it might not have specific effects, but to basically... you can basically reset the seal in Ocean's own way when you leave.
Yeah. It's gonna have Oshun's face on it, like, stay away!
Alright, do you want to break this?
Can I glance around and make sure the priestess isn't anywhere? Or, like...
Within
like-
vision, you can't see her. But to be fair, you can see a room and a dark stairwell.
My dark vision!
Yeah, but even without a dark vision, you wouldn't really be able to... The stairwell down here is one of those, like... Like, you wouldn't be able to see up it. But at the same time, she's kind of loud, so you don't hear her coming.
Okay. And has she... Can I see if she's been here? Like, there's no reason why she wouldn't have, but if there's like a particular level of markings or
Yeah,
something... where
that's a
she's
survival check.
connected with the- Yeah.
That's a good idea. There is, you know, in an almost Pokemon way, she has very distinct footprints in her, like, Pokedex entry. There we go.
You mean Monster Hunter? I'm just
Comes out soon.
again. Yay! Sorry, buttons had decided that they just didn't want to work.
By the way, I'm pretty sure... I mean, like, your spiritual weapon would have timed out by now, Ocean. You had it active before.
Oh yeah.
But you guys have been hanging out for a bit.
Ocean's just been contemplating using it on a Shal or something.
It's been, like,
It's like-
hovering around a Shal, yeah, like, suspiciously.
Maybe it would have been a better idea to keep my eyes.
Yeah. Probably,
Yeah!
honestly.
Survival
Okey-dokey.
check. Survival
Finally
check.
here. Finally.
Space is well lit, so that's not a problem.
It's a number.
12.
It's not terrible.
You don't. I mean, her footprints would be pretty obvious. She's not been down here without any kind of shrouding spell. You don't know if the magic that you know the Mad Priestess uses magic to shroud herself. You don't know if that would shroud her footprints. You don't know. But if that is something that she can do, she might have been here. You don't know.
You have to catch 10 before you can really identify them.
Yeah, yeah. She's a legendary, so like the system is rigged. Will you be taking down the wards?
Yeah.
Tell me this is gonna go up and just crunch the wall down.
I mean, it's just a bunch of chain, right?
Yeah.
Like, not chain mail, like chains.
Yeah, yeah,
Straight
like
down
chains. Yeah.
he'll just push to the side to go through.
Okay. When you do, it would be spiderweb, essentially. Like, strands of spiderweb filament will start to snap on them. And you might for a moment think Ashal was wrong and it's like about to explode or something. I imagine you're pushing it apart with like the end of the flail. But no, what happens is that like they glow blue and snap and the ward sigils kind of start to fade away. You do get a little bit of time when there's still light. But let me do one thing at a time. But very quickly the light starts to fade away, right? Not really to anyone's surprise. But once the chain is moved, it reveals the room behind. And you can kind of feel the influx of pulling air from a great big pit. It's dark down here without light, and once the last little elements of the fairy fire disappear, you are just left with the dark.
These banisters,
Yeah.
or equivalent.
So it's essentially like there's actually multiple layers you can see down, like floors of the building. There are some chains and elements that hang down quite a bit, but largely this appears to be the only like directly accessible floor from here anyway. The banisters are quite large and are basically like made of wrought iron. In some areas where roots have kind of like grown and twisted, there's also roots kind of growing from the ceiling. There's even a place where there's like a skeletized hand, but it's hanging from the ceiling, as if the rest of the body is up there in the dirt and stone somewhere.
I am guessing that the pit probably extends beyond the range of my dark vision.
Yeah. You can see like a couple of layers of railings every 10 or so feet down, and then it just keeps sort of going down. It gets more overgrown and more ruined the further down it gets. It's definitely a route that you could explore if you had more time and equipment.
Yeah. And there is that light coming from this?
That is light.
door?
Kind of flickering, warm firelight seeping out
That's
from
a
under
cute
a door. Yeah, animated firelight on the door.
And these are downwards. These got to be downward stairs. It's not.
Yeah, the stairs only go downwards. You were essentially on the roof of the building.
Yeah.
This is essentially the elevator to roof access.
Ocean's just gonna gently remind people. Ocean's probably gonna mutter about like going back to their patron, and then realize that they're just saying it to themselves.
We can proceed down, or check what is producing that light.
Your sense of foreboding from this place. Your feelings. The shadow was sourced from the depths of the pit. No.
Yeah, the heartbeat. That was perfectly timed.
Yes, it would be my guess that whatever is the source is at the bottom. or at the very least, much further down.
Nevertheless, we should investigate this light.
It would
And then
not
we can proceed down.
It would not do to be followed down and surrounded.
Exactly. We must not leave our flanks exposed. I shall lead the way.
Excellent. The door is stone, metal, and wood. Quite strong, but not, you know, the heavy-duty door you'd expect maybe deeper on in an asylum like this. It does have a lock on it, like, on the front of the door, but it also doesn't look like the door is locked right now either. It's ever so slightly ajar, there's a little bit of air flowing through it.
Is it a door or is it a jar?
Hey. You know, ajar is actually the word for door in Dwarvish. It gets very confusing.
Yeah.
And the word for jar is door. I mean, let's call the whole thing up.
It's the largest hurdle to learning Underground.
Yeah.
Shall I just push you? Shall I just pick up a shell and just go yeet?
Does it have like a sliding window or anything, or does it just
does,
like, opaque?
but opens on the other side. Good question.
Interesting. So, could be like a administrative. I don't know. Like, I don't know what this asylum is built for, and none of us do really.
And to be honest, the bigger question is, why is there a light source in this probably ancient asylum?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
fortune favors the bold. Bogdan will just open the door.
Okay. First things first.
Roll initiative.
No, but I would ask you not to immediately move. I have a cute thing to do.
You're all dead. That's the cute thing.
There we go.
Oh,
I have a cute thing to do.
Oh, the door opened.
Roll the deck save.
The door swung open.
Did the door open for y'all? It didn't do it on my end. Oh, there it is.
Oh no, it swung open. There is still a door in the original place, but we also got an open door swinging open.
Oh, it's gone for me.
Do it again.
Well, it'll do it again on its own.
Oh, now it's open fully. Yeah, it's open properly. Cool.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, animated doors. You can buy them on Roll20. I will also remove the fire, because obviously now you can just see into the room, and yeah, your kind of bet was right, Bogdan. It does kind of look like part of like an office or a guard hall or something. There are weapons on the walls, but also shelves that have other kind of sundries. There is a hearth there that is clearly used for cooking as well as heat, but not for the amount of stuff for like a it's not like a full kitchen. It's like, oh no, you could cook a little meal here while you were waiting.
it's a medieval microwave.
Well, no.
Is per the picture, is the fire lit?
Yes, fire is lit.
The door. Sorry.
Well, Bogdan will just kind of turn and be like, kind of gauging, is like, are we going like sneaky, or can I just, you know?
The door, was it real creaky when it went open?
It definitely weren't whisper smooth.
Are we talking like?
Nah.
Or are we talking like?
Yeah, it's more, there was like a creak of the hinges when the door opened, and it was
Old door.
audible, but not,
Possibly still well used though.
yeah, not full-on horror movie, naked grandma behind the door with a knife. Like, we're not in that stage yet.
That was very specific.
Yeah.
I know what movies I like.
Okay.
Oddly specific. Tamulus would nod at Bogdan.
I don't know what that means.
And then leave.
I get the feeling we don't have a very stealthy party. I think maybe like not yelling down the halls is a good idea, but I don't think going specifically stealthy is going to be much benefit. Particularly considering this is a very weird place with probably weird magic and weird creatures.
Okay.
What?
Bogdan strides forward, and he doesn't shout, but he will say, "Hello? Anyone here?"
There is no response but the creaking and the crackling of the fire.
Are these weapon racks?
Yeah, and there's also bookshelves above them. So there's like weapons and then books.
Books. How high can I float? High enough.
You could float high enough to look at the bookshelves. Yeah.
Yeah,
Look at
I
this
can float
bookshelf,
up
anyway.
to 4 feet off the ground, so I'm pretty sure I can get a look at the
I can
bookshelves.
lift you.
It's just stabbing for dummies.
Ocean's just gonna go through the door.
What sort of books am I looking at?
First of all, Bogdan is going to get shot.
Yeah, I was about to say, hey, what's that crossbow doing in the corner there?
Now I
There
know.
is a kind of click and a. And
that.
Bogdan,
What's that
what's
crossbow?
your armor class?
I think it's 16. No, it's 17.
Who that's better? Yeah. So the bolt is going to kind of like crash again, like you can move in such a way, seeing it, that it crunches against the most heavy part of your armor. Still hits you, still gonna bruise, but you don't take any damage. But I would ask you all to please roll initiative.
Well, that's rude.
You know, as Charles is just going to look at books anyway.
Yeah, no, Charles can spend turns rolling.
Wow, boy, the Shah really forgot that guilt earlier real quick.
Yeah.
Oh man, I wonder when we've been in a situation where Charles looking at books and like we're fighting some terrifying small monsters.
There weren't even books in that place. It wasn't even Ashal was distracted by books in that one, I'm pretty sure. Ashal was just
Ashal-
not doing anything.
Yeah. And well, the thing is that Ashal could only really do one thing, which was kill the critters. And Oshun was evidently like, I want to not kill the critters, I want to save them. So Ashal was basically sulking, going, well, you go do your thing then.
Yeah, let us never forget this. This campaign nearly ended due to Oshun trying to catch an electric lizard. And you nearly full party wiped. Very nearly. Ashal!
I mean, if you'd have
She has a long and complex backstory about how she can't not love things.
that hasn't updated. I got a 2. I don't know why that hasn't updated.
Well, half of it's right.
Yeah.
In which case, Tumulus.
Wow.
Yeah, so you basically probably get the little, like, the tinglies of action. And then you hear and see this crossbow bolt ka-chunk into the side of Bogdan.
And Bogdan
Yeah, and there
looked at
is-
the crossbow like it insulted him.
And there is this, like, kind of chicken like sound from the turret.
It's reloading!
Oh, yeah.
Okay. This is a table, right?
Oh, yeah, this is like a bar.
Perfect place for a
Oh, it's a
brawl.
bar.
Yeah, so it's got, like, a front.
It's a wooden bar, though, right?
Wood. Little bit of probably stone or clay elements, like clay brick.
I thought he was about to. It's made of drow skin.
Well, they've already
We
skinned like the face. They might as well use the rest of the body. Just
And now that you've looked at it, you're possessed by the countertop.
We could deal with a bit of clay. Tumulus would like to heave and attempt to turn it onto its side.
the bar would be more protective in its current position,
But not mobile.
height-wise.
But not mobile.
But not mobile. Okay, yeah. Give me an
You
athletics
and I
check.
are of one mind.
Yeah, well, you're playing like the same like combat role, which is very good
Yeah.
because those two are playing the same combat role of They're
A
there.
non-combat roll.
Athletics, do I? Yeah, we'll just.
I occasionally try to kill my allies.
I don't succeed.
That's
Yeah,
my
it's
combat
like one of
roll.
those things where you go up and try to give it like a push, like a shove. And maybe this is even like an instinctual memory that's coming back from a time way before, maybe even before Tumulus died. But this is not a flimsy bar made of just simply wood. It's got a lot more like support to it and strength to it. It might even be bolted to the wall in some places. Not impushable, but totally too much for like that quick like momentum like shoulder barge thing. It will still be giving you cover here. So like you're not safe. You're safer.
You see Tumulus' spine like a.
If they making the same noise that the turret is as it's reloading. Alright.
Man, those toilets up there.
No, those are chairs. No, this is the communal
They're
elven
just-
shitting room from the Age of Fang. Everyone used to go to the bathroom together in one room and look at each other.
They're just set up in like a slightly toilet-shaped array, like
And
it's
whoever finished
weird,
last
right?
got shot.
Yeah, no, it's if you don't wash your hands. It's like you get up and you're like, oh,
That is the future that liberals want. Bogdan.
Alright, I have a question.
Oh, unless
Actually,
you'd like
a
to
lot.
rage and everything, Tumulus, but I imagine not after failing an
No,
athletics
thank
check.
you. I would have done it before the athletics check. I considered it, but I decided against it.
Just check. I forget that you can use your bonus actions.
Rage against the crossbow.
This device,
Against the machine.
how is it mounted?
So it is its own mount. It's like a tripod, and it looks like two crossbows kind of wedged together. There's two firing elements, one larger, one smaller, and then kind of this hefty reloading mechanism, and clearly some kind of technology to let it actually see things. But it actually has two firing elements. Is the main
So
thing.
you said it's a tripod, so it's mounted to the floor.
It's mounted. It's not like screwed in or anything, though. From a glance, it's got like feet, and the feet kind of look like tiger paws or something, but they're made of like dark
Someone
metal.
get their portal gun out.
Yeah.
And the floor beneath it is stone.
Yeah, it's all stone. This whole place. It's that kind of like dark, slightly glossy in some places stone, where if the light catches it in the right angle, you can almost see words across the bricks.
And just guesstimating, how tall is the turret?
It's honestly like a 5 foot, 5-foot-ish. It's a medium-sized creature.
Bogdan will reach out his hand and mutter in deep speech, and I'm gonna cast Mold Earth on the floor beneath it and just excavate it.
Oh, but push it down.
Yeah.
It is stone. Yeah. I'm gonna give it a dex save. I need to get its stats up.
It has 5 charm,
Yo, it doesn't have to do a charisma save, luckily.
plus 5 to charisma.
What am I looking for exactly? It's not that. I mean, it's a dex save, but it's on it. No, it fails. Yeah. You cast the spell, and then you just hear it clicking down there, like clicking and doing its thing, but it's now down in the pit. It's now down in a little pit. Not really a
Bogdan
threat
will
to
be
anyone.
satisfied with that.
Yeah. You do
So,
note
Cretans,
that
I have abundant.
the actual like spell, you know, you mold the stone with your willpower. It was difficult. It was a strain to actually mold the stone of this place. It was a lot more tiring than anywhere else. And of course, yeah, like smoothed flagstone would be more tiring, but even more than that.
Good thing you're in the communal elfin pooing room.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to
That's how I
accidentally
re-
mold
that's how I
earth into the
recharge.
sewage pipes.
Yeah.
Oh god.
You don't want
That's
that.
a problem.
10,000 years.
Yeah, so of note, anyone who goes to like actually look at that chest is still probably gonna get shot. But you leave it alone, it can't do anything to you.
You said chest? There's a chest? I don't see a chest. What chest?
There's a chest at the end of the room.
I'm
Baited.
more interested in books.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're not really in turn order anymore because it can't do anything.
Well, Bogdan will take a slice of the flagstone, lift it, and slide it on top of the crossbow's hole.
Like, is the crossbow detachable from the thingy?
Well,
it looks like a fully maybe, but you'd have to really like get up close to it. You don't have enough
is it's
control of the stone to make a lid. You can make you could push the wall out and above it. But I would need you to make a check because this is a much more controlled usage, right? Hole under is fine, but yeah, this one would be a check of your spellcasting ability. I don't remember which one it is. Intelligence.
yeah, but yeah, I'll do it. Screw it.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's always a good like D&D problem solving thing when you can negate an encounter with a cantrip.
I did not roll well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like the stone is increasingly difficult to wield in some areas. In some places, the flagstone has just degraded over time enough that it's easier to manipulate. But also at the same time, you're trying to do something very precise. It's like the stone walls around will move and shift a little bit. You can't close this pit. You can't make it safe to approach there. Off the top of willpower alone.
Okay.
Is,
Anyway, Bogdan will take a step forward triumphantly and then look over at Tommy Olsen and go, "You're right."
Oh, they do look like toilets.
Is there? I mean, this is
I
Ian
drew
not
these
knowing the
chairs.
not knowing the normal construction of a crossbow. Is there a moving part of a crossbow that could be deattached to prevent it from of this crossbow that could be like fairly easily removed to stop it from reloading and firing?
Definitely. You don't know how this machine works.
Okay.
I mean,
fair enough.
Inevitably,
I
a
want
mechanical
Tyler
machine can be jammed.
I'm just-
I want to attach this thing to the beetle.
to like the front of the palanquin. That's a great idea. You'd need to disable its auto-attacking
want to
mechanism
make
or whatever
you-
first.
I want to make use of the magnesis cantrip to try and pull something away to disable it, but
It would be
But,
without knowing how because it's like semi-enclosed. It's not just crossbows
Yeah.
wedged on top of each other. Like the whole mechanism is actually enclosed. This isn't like someone quickly cobbled together this turret. This was deliberately made and quite well made too. I mean, imagine when usurper elves make their hand crossbows, they're very delicate, very deliberate, very well made things. This is almost like a much larger version of that level of craftsmanship, but from a long time ago. If you could dismantle it, maybe you'd know that for the future, if you ever encounter one of these again. That is a good point. Oshun is big enough to carry this thing around in front of her like she's Gordon
I
Freeman.
want her to just point it and be like, ka-ching!
could someone throw something to make it fire and then we rush up to it?
Right. Bogdan, not being privy to this out of character
Oh, no.
conversation, will just be like, "It's neutralized."
There is a chest there that we might want to look at.
There's a gun there that we might want.
I am more interested in these books. I am just...
Books are good.
We'll
If
tell
only
this
I
stick
had
together.
more eyes with
We
which
can take
to read.
the wood off of this bar here and create a lid.
Yeah.
It is a fine plan. If we separate the top from the rest, we could simply slide it over the gap.
And there you have it.
Yeah. That's not even an athletics check for you two. You know, you're both strong. It's nails. You know, it's a like get the right angle and then you could pop it off and then you can slide it over. The turret is going to. Who's gonna be? Are you gonna be side by side or is someone gonna be at the front?
I was thinking we just like Navy SEAL crawl and slide it in front of us.
Yeah.
Like, shoot your head first.
It's gonna shoot. Oh, you know what? It's got 2 guns. It'll shoot both of you as you're doing this. It is gonna succeed. It's across. It can't stop you.
Guys, I have a flying scythe.
No, they've wedged the hole with a bar.
Crossbow weakness is that we're prone.
Yes, yeah. No, it didn't roll enough to hit either of you. It rolled just not well enough at all. So like as you push the thing close, it does like fire, but also it's trying to like fire up awkwardly and like it does splinter the wood.
Its tail goes all fluffy.
Well, yeah, but
Its hackles come up.
So now you have a hole with the turret in the hole, and you've wedged the bar top over the hole, and you can still hear it down there clicking and whir. No, this is great. This is hilarious.
Bogdan laboriously stands up using his poleaxe and goes, "There you go, chest. Oh, good, there's a chair here."
Who wants to open the
I think
chest?
it's a toilet.
Someone clearly drew this to be a chair.
Thank you. But I will admit I drew it like 6 years ago.
You drew that?
Almost every asset in any D&D show is done by me. Most of them you can
You're
buy online
joking.
if you search Oliver Smith on Roll20.
Except me. I'm an asset that's not done by like.
Not yet. When quarantine's over, baby, things are gonna get weird. Who wants to open the chest? Bogdan is having a sit. Bogdan is right there, within arm's reach, even. But nah. Bogdan's having an old man sit.
Yeah, he's just settling.
Alright, go on then. I can't actually see it.
Yeah, it might be bugged for you,
Because-
but you could see it on stream.
Doesn't appear in my
can't
reddish
see it
dark
either.
vision.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We got tank blindness. But like I'll grope for it blindly and then like.
It's not locked. It is a little stiff, but the chest opens without complaint, and inside is a cache, or cache, depending on your region, of healing potions. There's actually a hiss when you open it. Like there's a little bit of stiffness, and there's a hiss, and a little bit of like a pale blue gas escapes, and it's cold. And there are 12 chilled healing potions in the chest.
Wowza.
Wow.
Lots of healing potions.
That was worth it.
Only regular ones, but
That's how you know we're set up for a dungeon crawl.
You get 3, so we get 3 each, right?
you solved my puzzle.
Healing potion.
3 healing potions each.
Potion of healing. 3.
Poor struggling laptop.
Yeah, the chest was also animated, but the animated effects in a dungeon like this don't really work. But we're experimenting, and I paid $10 for them. You know what? They're cool.
It has just occurred to me that it's entirely possible that these books that I'm trying to look at are written in Elven, but
Yeah. This would be before the
Yeah.
formation of Undercommon.
Yeah.
But not all of them. In fact, one book that you kind of swept up into your arm would be Elven, but with large amounts written in Umbral. It would be a book about the practical utilization of shadow magic. You know, kind of the hedge magic kind of thing. How to use shadow magic to create simple protective wards, repair things, stuff like that. Almost like a primer. But it's very old. It's very, you know, the way people see and apply learning of magic is different. And this is mostly sorcery. The natural connection to shadows that some usurper elves have. For example, Vilnora in one of the other shows. It's not universal, but that's what this book is about, like drawing on the darkness inside. But in a very practical way.
As Charlotte's just floating there, reading like the first pages of this book as the party presumably comes back past.
Can I rip off the crossbow from this thing?
First you'd have to remove the lid.
But the lid is scary.
If you remove the lid, you can access the crossbow below.
Get around the corner.
Can I have a strong person's help?
Strong person doesn't necessarily mean stupid person.
Well, I think both Tumulus and Bogdan are have positive intelligence scores. So,
yeah, I mean,
I'm well read.
Zero's positive, right?
I mean,
yeah,
we have
officially,
healing potions
legally.
now. Yeah, I'll shift it just a bit, enough to get like.
You want to get like a hand in?
Yeah, a hand and a dagger, like chip away or try and unscrew something with my dagger.
I'll allow it. It will be an intelligence check with disadvantage.
Okay.
And while you're doing it, Bogdan will look at you judgmentally and say, "It's a crossbow, not a pet."
But can you imagine it on
Oppa.
Oppa?
You named it.
I'm pretty sure its name was by Paul. Oh, that was nearly 19.
That was almost really good.
That was.
Yeah,
almost
you kind
really-
of fumble around with the knife in there, but you just kind of you realize it's kind of hard to, you know, you're trying to do it by feel, which Ocean's quite good at, being part spider. But you then notice the thing is like turning and like trying to find you and like reloading both crossbows, and you don't really know how to take it apart either, other than like maybe
never
brute
mind.
forcing it. You don't have the angles for it, so you're just like,
We'll find something else now that the idea has been planted.
Yeah.
you
I'm sure-
could hire someone to make this for you.
I was gonna say, I'm
that's
sure you
a-
could
that's
buy
a good
something
idea.
like
The thing
this.
is-
Yeah.
You've only been obsessed with what you can do, not whether you should do it.
Wait, is that the diplomats from Akshua?
Yes,
it is. Why do they have a machine gun firing double-barreled auto crossbow on there?
That is a very valid point.
Hello, we are the diplomats.
I feel that like that describes this party though. We don't think about whether we should do something and only whether or not we can. I'm including myself in that.
I resent that.
Yeah. Okie dokie. It's just like you.
Don't know whether you've
didn't
noticed
even,
recently.
like, it just gave me that feeling where you're trying to like put together something and you've hit a snag and you're just sweating and you're like, why?
Yes,
am I sweating?
I had that
It's
earlier
so
before the
hot.
stream. I said like when I have audio issues, I just get like physically hot.
Yes.
I don't know what it is, but like my like internal fan stopped working or whatever, and I just start heating up. Like what? Ugh.
I know what you said, Ian, about like maybe we are that party, but I think recently Bogdan and Tumulus have really been raising the bar.
That was really good.
And we're done tonight, folks.
Well, we're one room down in the dungeon. What would you guys like to do next?
Go down.
Let's descend.
Come.
Well, hang on. Are these weapons of any note, or are they just?
The weapons are pretty old. Not necessarily rusty, but like, if you wanted a basic longsword or axe. A lot of like battle axes. You could totally pick them up. Long sword, short sword, battle axes. Maybe a couple of spears as well. It's well stocked. This would have been a guardhouse for at least a large, like maybe this wing of the asylum. And they clearly had use for a lot of weapons.
Just because they're throwable, I'll grab a couple spears for this dungeon. I'll just
they would be 2, so one you can like pick them up, and they're like all metal too. This is like old school dark steel. While the design is kind of unmistakably dark elven, it's not usurper elf, if you know what I mean.
It's an antique.
It is an antique. It belongs in a museum.
Ha ha.
I just realized the turn order always spawns off camera when we're doing dungeons. Right. Not that it
to
really
be fair,
matters.
I also prefer to spawn off camera.
Like a salmon.
Did Oshun want to look at the elven books in Elven before we move
the
on?
elven books in
The elven
Elven.
books in Elven.
The elf would like to look at the elven books that are in Elven, please.
Yeah. I think the most interesting ones are the ones that, as Charles already kind of picked through. There are a couple of journals that have been stored here of the people who worked in the asylum. A couple of basically, like, ancient psychology books.
People who, like, wow, this really archaic psychology keeps insinuating that refrigerator mothers are responsible for everything that ever goes wrong.
Usurper elves have a lot of mummy issues. Even back in this age. Yeah, it's like a kind of dark age psychology reference, and it's and the funny thing is it's not even that different from now. It's just there's been a lot of different changes, but it might be of use or value to someone.
No maps, no people saying we cannot get out. We've barred the door. We cannot get out. They are coming.
If they are there, they're not in the untouched bookshelves since before this place fell to ruin.
Fair enough. Drums.
Drums
in the deep.
Can I ascertain how long this fire has been going?
Ad infinitum.
Oh.
It's got like an like some kind of magic treated fire brick in it that is radiating enough heat to keep this thing like a glow.
So it's not actually on fire?
Yeah, it's just like a really like fairly warm glow.
Ocean and Bogdan appreciate the warmth before delving into the freezing cold.
Yeah, it is like once you get out of that like 10-foot radius, cold, clammy. Fetid. Dank.
Fit. Squalor.
This place is dank, friends.
Oh no, it's moist! We have to protect Tumulus.
It's not that it's actually moist, but it feels moist.
That kind of cold old feeling.
That cold old feeling, you get me. I wouldn't go too far because my the thing needs to catch up real quick.
The monster that's chasing us needs to catch up real quick.
No, as in my machines. Is that the way you want to go?
Ian's got a need for speed. We saw the first set of stairs.
The brick with us. I want to take the brick with us.
The
Are
warm
you
fire
gonna-
brick?
How are you gonna hold it?
I'll
I have
admit.
8 hands. I can hot potato it like.
You have 8
between
legs.
them. Yeah, that'd be harder with legs.
Make a juggling check.
Are you trained in juggling? Do you have proficiency?
You've solved my juggling riddle.
Okay, you're going down these stairs.
Oshun's
Yes.
gonna have a little bit of trouble. She's gonna get 2 of her friends to like pull on her hands. Who wants to help Oshun get
Old
through
lady
that
needs help
door?
downstairs. But also, yeah, you're starting to get in, like It's starting to get a little tight for big Ocean. The hair's definitely going to be getting dusty.
No! Dusty!
There is a large broken door laying on the floor here.
It's not
Looks like-
preventing passage.
It's not preventing passage. You might have to step over it.
Was it?
We can't.
I mean,
What kind of plebeian step over things? I float over
It's
things.
true.
Please punish him for that. Have the door flip up.
It's just a it's just like a really like meme trap. The door just ka-ding. Like, that's actually a dwarf fortress thing. The fucking like atomic death bridge.
It's like stepping on a rake. Ian moves next to a door on the floor. It just goes bang.
In the image there, it looks like it was destroyed from the outside, battered in. Is that actually how it looks?
That would be an investigation check, like actually going and sitting by it and giving it a real careful look. Good
A good shout.
detectiving.
Ocean's not keen to go down another narrow.
I mean, I got a picture right there that tells me it was battered in, so I need
Yeah,
to
the
check.
pictures are never always 100%, right? So it's a good question. It's kind of a little bit of both. It could even be the case that the door wasn't completely just slammed down. It's also the fact that the hinges have worn as well. I mean, you can see where the hinges are in the stone wall. Like, the area around has crumbled. So it didn't take a lot of force to knock this down, but it does look like force from both sides over the ages worn this thing down. There's more damage on the side you're about to be traveling into from like this
inside,
side.
okay.
From the inside, yeah. It was also designed with a couple of locks to lock from the outside, if necessary.
Let's continue my bad ideas of going first.
Oh lord.
It looks like things may have been trying to get out.
I really thought that Tumulus was going to do a CSI Miami meme and just go, yeah!
Can everyone give me initiative checks?
Oh!
We just form the line here, and when Ashal tries to run back, we
It
just
is,
shove it
yeah.
back,
I shall still in
and we
front.
just watch the DMX going on.
There, the thing that alerts you is the sound of quickly shuffling footsteps, almost
Oh,
the
I don't
sound
like quick
of
shuffles.
someone like nearly falling down and catching themselves, and then the ragged breath afterwards. That will be enough to put everyone on edge. Even before you actually see anything in the dark. Ocean, you may act first. Did you do an illegal move while we were rolling initiative? I remember you being in
No.
the corner. Okay.
Oh, I did move a little.
Yeah,
Oh.
once the declare of initiative is rolled, any moving thereout would be thoroughly illegal, and you will be
Yeah, I
fined.
didn't even think.
That's a 100 gold fine.
That is the one.
just-
I'm gonna need
pay
those
it to
potions
Tamulus.
back.
Oh.
That is a false start flag. For the,
You see, the trick is, if you go fast enough, then you make it in before Ollie calls initiative. I could be like here.
I'm not sure whether that's a good thing though for the sorcerer with how much max health.
No, it's not. But
You know, because Ashal doesn't have to worry about
Really
walking on the
wants to be a
stairs,
grub.
so it's a lot faster for Ashal. You know, you guys have to like do one step after the other,
Yeah, we
going
got to
down
do
the
a different
stairs,
animation, you know.
and yeah, they're like when you're jogging down the stairs animation. It's like the best animation in any video game ever.
as Charles just floating down, still reading the book.
Ocean, what would you like to do upon hearing the sounds? If anything. You can pass your turn.
I will pass.
Okay.
rather than passing, you could just say, "I prepare Toll the Dead in case something comes into view."
Yeah, in that case, I prepared Toll the Dead because I was going to prepare my scythe, but I was like,
Potentially a waste of a spell slot.
yeah.
Okay. Ashal,
Oh, dead.
you feel the stagnant air in the asylum shift.
I'm going to be stupid and move into this corner because I don't want to be in. I don't want to be in the way of the like melee people.
And
That
they
is-
never
Oh,
saw
God.
Shal ever
It's-
again.
I see the outline. I see
You
the
see
red
like
border of
a
the-
you see a shivering, darkened arm.
Oh, love that.
Very jerky movement. It
Oh,
does
they're
appear to
gonna
be.
do the scary fast movement, aren't they? They're gonna go, yeah.
Oh god.
Well, Zoe gets
I
it.
just
Zoe
love-
gets what's about to happen.
I just love
I'm
Ian
going
being
to-
like, just ready in action for if they come into view, and then walks around the corner.
Ashal is the example of like a D&D player making the wrong choice for fun.
Yeah.
Every time. Okay.
I will ready Mind Sliver because I mean this thing could go the other way. It doesn't necessarily come after me. I will prepare a Mind Sliver for whatever comes into view.
For whatever
basically,
comes next.
It's World War
Tumulus.
Z of those.
3, 4, 5.
I'm gonna move the turn order over this way. Is that you, Tumulus?
Tumulus would like cock his head quizzically at Ashal, like he's backed himself into a corner.
Dark corner in an haunted asylum.
Yeah.
It seemed a better idea than going out into the middle of a hall with a zombie.
He's leaning into his cuttlefish instincts, okay?
He's gonna ink in a minute. Tumulus
gonna
will
pulse
ready an
different
action
colours.
that if an enemy, not Bogdan, enters my my 5 reach, I would like to deliver it a heckin' bonk.
You have a few moments to prepare before that shuffling noise gets louder. Ashal, you do see the creature round a corner. It's humanoid. Perhaps, maybe even elven once. There is a withered and blackened husk of the body that is jerky and twitchy, and the head is just emanating this scratchy darkness. It's almost like someone has scribbled over them over and over and over again. Every second it's happening again and again and again and again. And it's twitching and shifty, and after kind of turning, and actually I gotta check whether you're within its vision range. It might not even see Ashal, it might just hear Ashal. Oh no.
I mean,
It
can I
sees
just
him.
point out, I'm floating. Would it hear me? Because I'm not making footsteps.
It's just the
It didn't hear
the
you.
constant soft.
It does
But
see
heard
you.
Drat.
And it's going to run. Exactly
Yeah,
as
my
Zoe
mind's
said, these are fast, twitchy things.
It's very cool.
And it's going to run and then stop.
It's
Not
very close.
actually attacking, but you do get to do Mind Sliver on it if you do wish.
Well, it's not attacking.
The question.
What would Ashal do?
You can choose not to while
Ashal-
throwing action, yeah.
Ashal is a coward and
You
does
just
not
don't-
like it
yeah.
being charged at by something. Ashal's instinct would be to hit it.
Fair.
Sure. Intelligence saving throw. Let me check. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, there is like, as it's running, it's like its head hangs back for a moment. But like the rest of the body keeps moving, and then it all kind of catches up. But it does take that damage.
It's so cool.
it lets out noises. In part, it's the sound of its feet clamoring on the ground. There's also this sound emanating from the head, the shadow haze. It's like sobbing, but like sped up and hitching and breathy and very distorted. And that's when you start to hear it more and more from the darkness.
Oh my god.
It's gonna run up right close to Bogdan.
You can help but notice that you put this horrifying thing next to me.
Yep.
What gives?
Okay. Bogdan. This thing comes up close, and just like with Ashal, it doesn't come up close and immediately attack you, almost like a weeping angel kind of thing. It's in like a position to attack you, but it's taking like a pause.
Don't like it.
And almost it's almost like they're all pausing at the same time as well.
Don't like it.
It's the underground creature, just like being weird.
That could be any session of this campaign. That what you just said? The underground creature being weird? You could tagline any episode.
Okay. I guess it's bonk time.
Yeah, is it bonk time?
I don't know.
First of all, that's copyright Tumulus Industries.
Right.
Go ahead and make an attack. Yep. I agree. Let me entertain you. Oh, one sec. Everything's gone a little pairs up. What was that? A 16? A 16 is absolutely going to hit. Go ahead and roll damage. In quite a disturbing way, it doesn't really attempt to dodge or deflect a strike at all. Allowing you to just get a really clean blow on it. And honestly, Bogdan, you know, like a killing blow. But of course, it doesn't go down.
Rude. Yeah, well, that's me.
Okay. It takes the blow. Next up would be Ocean. What are you thinking of doing?
It's super hard to say. They haven't attacked yet, but like... what I'm going to do in that case is... if it will let me... I'm going to cast Bless.
Interesting that Bless doesn't require sight. So you can cast Bless on Ashal and Tumulus,
Nice.
if you wish.
Well,
you already have Devotion, which is essentially Bless. So you might as well do Ashal, Tumulus, and Bogdan.
Because I have, like, no shield spells or anything for anyone.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering whether does Ashun use a shield?
Nope.
Okay.
The shield is her loving embrace.
Doesn't really stop zombos do it. Okay, so everyone has a Bless, other than Oshun, who essentially has Bless, but only on saving throws.
Anything else you're gonna do, or is that?
Do I still have my Toll the Dead?
That would have already taken place when it rushed into your sight.
Yeah, it's not done anything yet, so Oshun's just like, these are very unnatural, and my instinct is to love them better, but they're very, very strange and wrong in a way that's beyond our comprehension.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, Lady Oshun, you should defer to my instinct for this moment.
Okay. With Bless cast, Hashal.
Just
Yeah.
As Charlene hesitating, tempestuous magic will allow me to move 10 feet without an opportunity attack. When I cast Maelstrom, like here, to pull the two creatures.
Pull the two together if they fail their saves, yeah.
having said that, I have Shield of Faith.
You do, but I think that's no. I think you can cast it on others.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, you can cast it on others. You can stack it too.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you? I thought it was concentration.
with other people.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. True.
One is going to fail. The one close to you is actually going to succeed and not get pulled in closer. But this one here
Did that
will fail.
have its minus D4 from Mindsliver?
It didn't. Where's a D4 when you need one? I'll just walk in my box barefoot until I find one. You both fail! Yeah. Mindsliver paying the bills. They are going to get bonked together. Crunch.
And
Oh no, it would be like
then I am floating rather rapidly behind Tumulus.
It's almost like when you start floating away, the one by you does like lurch forward and like turn to you, and then they're both just like pulled into one central point. Their bodies kind of clashing together, almost making the sound of glass when it crunks together. Not breaking, just that kind of sound. Tumulus. You are muted, by the way, if you're talking. But I also thought you might be
I
thinking.
would like to enter bonk state.
He's beginning to bonk.
And I would like to bonk this boy in front of me.
Sure. $18 is a hit.
And bonk. Oh,
Oh!
pleasant bonkage.
You crunch the flail into this creature, and it like crumbles, but only the upper body. The lower body stays pretty like secure to the ground, as if it was almost bolted down, and it gives it just enough strength to just kind of like come back up. And in your mother's tongue, you can hear it protesting over and over.
Deep dislike.
Wait, what? In who? What?
Tumulus would hear it say, in common... Oh. It would say in common, no, 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 no. You cannot stop with us. What has happened?
Now do the robot one.
Okay. I need a little bit.
That's Oshun's mother tongue. No, no, no.
A little bit of robot for audible pleasure. Electric pleasure. Okay.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
And then it's going to attack you, Tumulus. Actually, yeah, this one's going to attack you. Let's actually do a little bit of beans. The one that you didn't strike, while you're like kind of unnerved, it's going to like dash around and just kind of swing at you. What's your AC right now, Tumulus?
16.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can kind of like just get the back of the flail in such a way where it can't strike you properly. And then the one in front is going to strike you. It is going to hit. And that's going to be 7 bludgeoning damage. This is also when I put away some of the stray dice that I've seen on my desk, because I've opened my box back up.
You round up.
You round down.
Or down.
Always.
Okay.
The one beside Bogdan and Oshun is going to strike at Bogdan, and is going to hit. It's going to be 4 bludgeoning damage.
Alright.
Just these very jerky, sudden motions that are very hard to block, especially as, you know, you just don't know how they're going to act or react. Next up, it's actually your turn, Bogdan. As the thing kind of... You try to sort of steel yourself as it lurches and swipes with claws over and over, and then it stops again. And you are kind of all hear that. You know, you'd be hearing the noises they're making in Dwarven, but usually there's not enough of a, like, defined thought. But sometimes a little.
Well, as was added to the dictionary in 1990, I'm going to clap back.
Oh,
Did you look that up? Was that one of them? It was like on the year you were born, these words
Yeah,
came into the
yeah,
dictionary. Yeah. Mine one was real good. I can't remember any of them, but there were some good ones.
Clap back, fam, World Wide Web. You're all welcome.
That's the new horoscope.
I believe I crit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go ahead and roll that double damage.
becomes a god.
Does it?
It'll do it automatically. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, and I rolled really, really well.
Oh.
Describe how you want to destroy this thing.
I just want to like bring the poleaxe way back and then just come all the way through it, straight line, just down the middle.
Each
Does his
side
feet
twitches
touch the ground
separately.
for a second?
That's funny to imagine. Each side twitches separately for a bit, and the kind of like shadow haze around the head is almost trying to stick together for dissipating, and then just each side falls apart. It actually wouldn't even make a wet sound. They're so like dry.
Okay, and then I'm gonna move. Oh, they're coming from that direction. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I'm done.
Coming from nautical south.
We say stage south in my game.
I like that. That's really
They're
good.
coming from stage south. Yeah.
Ocean. That's really good. That's such a good phrasing.
It is.
Now it's stolen.
Oh yeah, it's mine now.
I offer it. A humble offering to this stream for allowing me to join.
So Ocean is going to.
Cultural exchange event.
Yeah, you can take our thing, which is when you fuck up rolling a dice and you have to re-roll it. It's called Ericking.
That is actually my name.
So perfect.
Yeah.
It was meant to be, and is not weird at all.
You know, that really confuses me because, like, in some part of my brain, I'd assumed Jacob was called, like, Jake or Jack.
Yes!
Like,
Yeah.
I'd like, filed it in there, like, the
Jake!
high probability of this.
I had this conversation today where someone was like, I don't even want to know your real name, Ollie. And I'm like, well, you're going to be fucking surprised. What Ollie is short for. Okay.
So good.
Ocean, describe to me what doth be happen.
Okay, because I was kind of like, oh, I really hope they are true undead,
No,
otherwise
you
she's
don't
gonna
actually
look
know.
weird. Fine. Oshun's just going to be the divine symbol and like just be majestic, poised, and radiant and just motherly, will them to fuck off.
As someone who understands life and death and the equilibrium of such, you have a unique connection to the dead and almost try to will them back to their graves. But there is no reaction, there is no connection.
They're not technically
That which is not dead will not obey.
I thought I was gonna do Eyes of the Grave, but I only have one, and I don't want to just use it to test.
It was a good bet, very wise. Not
You said
undead.
they were so dry. They were dry boys.
It's not like it's not technically a zombie.
Just
It is a
really old
Habited.
drow.
still living or is
It
still.
does seem quite aberrant.
Yeah.
Damn it. Ocean's like, fuck it, kill them.
We really are
Bastards.
digging down to Cthulhu.
Asho.
Speaking of Cthulhu, I'm gonna mind sliver this boy down here.
Everyone has bless.
It doesn't affect my rolls. All of my rolls are saves.
Damn it.
It would have helped us saving. It will help a saving throw. If I
It's going to fail. It's going to take that damage.
Good.
And then it's going to not do anything. It's going to... Well, not do anything is the wrong term. It's going to grab its head and scream and writhe. But it's not going to fall to the ground.
Are these are these like the zombies that have every time they die they have a DC 10 save to make them and not die?
No, because that doesn't work if they take radiant damage. Well, unless they are.
No, I don't. That's not actually a rule for all of them. I have fought against them before when they don't have that thing.
Don't do this to me, Ollie. This was specifically a Warhammer game that I lost.
Yeah, okay.
Where's
Tumulus.
Drea? Oh, wait, no. Where's Drea?
Oh,
Outside.
you can't be bothered with the NPC.
It's not, I can't be bothered. It's a large dungeon crawl. NPCs wait outside.
It's the law.
It's the NPCs must wait outside. You just put a little collar on Drea and left her chained to the light post.
And she just sits there like,
Yeah, she's perturbed, but not like that mad. Barking at people who come by.
Bunk the one north of me.
Okay.
And if they're still there, I'm just gonna reckless attack him.
Hell yeah.
They're already
Why
getting
not?
advantage.
Why not? You're right.
Big bonk.
That's massive.
Bonk. Bonk.
Yeah. That one's going to crush it. And exactly actually as you described, Tumulus, the little flare of natural diffused sunlight that occurs within the sensor almost seems to spread over the thing. And maybe only like Tumulus and Oshun would understand when I say almost soothe it. Like, yeah, you're hitting it with a heavy thing, but the creature stops writhing and screaming and just kind of tumbles to the floor. Okay. The one that you didn't bonk, which is quite heavily injured by all these things, it was grabbing its head, it is going to strike at Tumulus, and it is going to hit. It's going to be 2 bludgeoning damage. Halved to 1. Yahoo! As this one runs from the shadow towards you, Ocean, it's going to drag its hand against the wall and just get enough of a chip of the smooth metal and stone that can kind of like huck it at you. And it is going to hit. And it's going to deal 5 bludgeoning damage to you, Ocean, as it just literally just throws like a chunk of slate at you.
I want I don't want to damage the mask forever, but I also do want it to hit the mask and just reveal part of her face.
Yeah, because that's badass. If Final Fantasy XIV told me anything, you can do the bit where someone's mask is broken and it's like, ooh, dramatic, and then completely ignore that it was broken for another, like, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
And then do the reveal of the mask later on, being like, ooh, you don't know, no, I've already seen this, what are you doing? Anyway, that game makes me think things. One sec. Not just for Bogdan, but also for me.
Baby Bogdan.
Okay. You know what? You know what? This is a good, like, halfway point for the stream. 1 down. Why don't we take a little break? Oh, well, I didn't mean to take the break now, but I guess I did. I guess we're on break now. See you in, like, 5 minutes. Oh, jeez. Oh, no. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Okay. Hello. Oh no. Inside baseball. Blech. I just realized something, by the way. When I did that effect earlier, chat didn't hear it. And they didn't go, what the hell are you guys talking about? So they didn't hear the robot or the cool thing. So, to set the scene, as we flip back around to Bogdan's turn, the creatures, some of them have gone down, some of them are still grabbing their heads and shivering, shaking. There is the eminent sort of repeating mantras from them of no, 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 leave, leave. And all of that, like, sobbing sound coming from them. Bogdan, what would you like to do?
Leave.
Well, well, you did ask.
I mean, they did. You know, they're obviously the residents. No, I'm gonna
You're not wrong.
I'm gonna get my slashing on,
Wow.
and I'll interpose myself between the monsters and Oshun, and then I'm going to strike.
Good luck, Tiny.
As opposed to Charm, who interposes Ocean between themselves and the monsters.
This is a good family dynamic.
And that was not good.
Not good enough.
Yeah,
It's a
that's me.
strike, it's a scratch, but it's not enough to fell the beast. Oh, Shun,
Yes.
in this perfect place, with your family.
She's both charmed by like how cowardly Charlotte is, and also how like chivalrous Bogdan is. Like just simultaneously, neither is necessarily too bad. It's just like,
That's like that's like the poly mentality. It's like get you both.
get you someone who can do both.
What are you doing? On which?
Sorry, I will indicate east one.
Okay. Wisdom save? It might make that.
Oh, come on.
It makes that. There is no effect. Anything else?
Wait, is Zoe doing an Ian and casting necrotic damage on these dead creatures that are immune to it?
They might not be immune to it.
No, I know they might not.
What?
Ian once spent an entire fight fighting a red dragon using fire spells because he critted on the first one, so it dealt damage.
And I was fairly new to D&D and didn't realise that red dragons were fire immune. And
It was legit.
It was a
funny.
perfect storm.
Yeah.
And it's not like any other party knew. None of the party knew.
Yeah, it was
So after
good.
the fight, it was just like, good job, Arvine. Well done, everyone. That was it.
I
It
would
was-
like to pluck a dagger at
You just use your action. Can you throw a dagger as a bonus action? The answer is no, unless you chance. Chance could do that.
In that case, I will just go. Wah, wah.
Look at the camera. Like, what a day! I shall. It's a living.
I'm going to continue mind slivering the one that Timulus is engaged with.
Aww.
This one.
No, they're engaged.
No,
This
we're
one's
both
still-
undead.
This one still has the minus D4 from last time it got hit. So
It took the damage, and then it rolled a 20 on its death save. So it's going to struggle and scream, but not go down.
I just noticed my drink is the same color as my jumper.
Yes.
true
I
fact.
guess that's your.
Would you like to do anything else, Charles? What are you really thinking? Moving,
Masala,
acting?
how do
Are you
you
just going to cling to my apron strings?
I I want to examine one of these things, but that's more of a out of combat things because I won't have time to do a proper examination.
If they're not
It is of note that the shadowy haze that seems to be disappears upon death.
Yes, that is something I'm concerned about, but I can't really capture one of these alive. So
Their brain.
Their brains would be like raisins by now.
Whisper again, Neil.
Yeah, I like raisins.
Tumulus,
really
it's
wish
your
I had
turn.
Essence Trap. If I had Essence Trap,
Gross.
Essence Trap, the spell that I made to allow you to be a Pokemon trainer without copyright infringement.
Bonk.
a very grim dark.
Roll my
That's a hit.
D4.
No, that's a hit.
Oh, I still rolled it.
It's
It's a hitter.
That's even like kind of perfect because it's almost like, you know, Tumulus is starting to tire after this whole thing, and it's like it just barely sort of hits, but it's enough for the creature to just kind of like fall back very heavily.
Oh.
And it's the fall of something like that hitting the ground. It's gonna shatter like a dropped bowl of cornflakes onto the ground. That's the Foley for you. You got to imagine it, or find it on YouTube, maybe.
I'm just seeing
I-
cornflakes now.
Yeah.
I'm intimately familiar with Cheerios being thrown on the floor.
No, wrong sound. Wrong
They're
to round.
they're a lot stronger.
Yeah.
You know, like
There is
they're-
an
they
innate
got some
fragility
strength.
to the cornflake. It has a particular sound that is evocative to the feeling of death.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is this even?
You know,
Huh?
it did just occur to me that if every time these things go down but stay back up, they're making a saving throw. That surely Mind Sliver would actually affect that if it's the first one after my initial.
Mhm.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me.
Ian's like, reflecting on it, I'm even more affected than I thought.
The one in front of Bogdan is going to keep kind of like lurching at him, but you can start to work out how the best way to block effectively strikes from the creature. And now it's your turn.
Okay, following up on what Ian said. So are you saying they had a headache, so they decided to die? Like,
Yes.
you know, I can relate.
You've had a
Sorry.
real bad migraine? I mean...
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Me head go now. Guess me no hold on anymore.
Oh no.
Add the blessed D4, it might still hit.
Oh
It
no.
will. It will. Roll a 4 and it will.
3.
That's a hit.
Yay!
Hey.
We are hashtag blessed.
How much damage is that going to be?
A respectable 13. We
Oh,
can't all be
that's, yeah, it is a
barbarians.
respectable... Well, that's really good. Okay.
Yeah, that's a very respectable.
Off that is Ocean! Ocean! Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, there you are!
Yay! I'm gonna learn my lesson. Lesson learned. I'm gonna huck a fucking dagger at it.
Yes.
Yes!
Dude, that's a really good roll. Wherein be the damage? Oh, 9 damage? It's gonna go down. It kind of stagger steps. And there's going to be a...
That was pretty good. Well done.
And then it's gonna fall off.
To like take the dagger out of its head and say, "Be at peace." No.
Whoa.
Meanwhile, as Shao will rush over and try to examine it, like the smoke's already dissipating, but just
You can give me an Arcana check, I suppose.
Sorry, Tumulus is still raging. He's going to make an attack of opportunities. You know, I can't.
That is the law of this land.
I mean,
23, that's really good.
I'm quite proud of the fact that at least as the intelligent character, I'm rolling well on my Arcana and History checks.
You are
It's like-
doing your job as the
Yeah.
the nerd of the party.
Yeah.
You quickly try to decipher exactly what this creature is, because yes, they did act in some ways like undead, but faster. They still had the kind of lack of willpower that one would expect of a zombie, but they weren't zombies. You think more on the feeling of this place, especially from above, especially when you embraced the umbral text on the walls. This building, this structure, this asylum is screaming. It is soaking with dark energy from many things, but something is evident. The horror and terror and tragedy that took place in this place has soaked into the very stone and the very entities within. These were inmates at some point, completely transformed by the raw, shadowy, almost psychic power of the negativity of this place.
Were they bad vibes?
They almost are bad vibe elementals, in a way.
Bad vibe elemental.
It makes sense why they...
With a Starbucks, just like, I don't like what you're wearing.
Yeah. But it's a lot more, you know, they're screaming because their fingernails are being pulled out, and they're being, you know, the feeling of thousands of years of torture is soaked into their very matter. But yeah, you know, that kind of vibe. That's what you sort of pick up and put together. The very essence of this place is animate. And the former inmates, whether or not they were somehow still alive or are corpses, at this point they're so transformed by the shadowy presence of trauma within this building that it has made them become something else.
Astral isn't immediately going to share this. They are quite obviously ruminating on, like, things again, but Astral has done that several times since entering building, so it's up to you whether or not you would ask them about it.
What is of note with that good check is they are not purely fell entities. Fell entities come from the Shadow Realm. If they were, they would have melted into darkness when they die. Ocean's gonna ask Ashal what his tentacle eyes see.
Yes. Very intentionally. Stop keeping things from people!
This place itself, the negativity, the terror, the horror, and the caused by torture has soaked into the building itself. It is almost a self-perpetuating cycle and has been for many years. These beings are trapped here, unable to die, causing more terror, which then transforms them.
Mama Oshun's going to spin her dagger and say, not entirely differently to how you usually know her, but just a little bit darker, is going to say, let us give them the gift of death.
I do not think there would be anything kinder to give them at this point.
And let us not join them.
I take offense at that.
Tamula smiles.
Is there a way for us to cleanse the corruption, not just those affected by it? Or is that something we will not know until reaching the depths of this foul place?
I would.
That's the Hell Train. Sorry, couldn't resist.
I would need live. I hesitate to call them live, but I would need a live sample and time to even give a theoretical answer. But most magic can be undone, trapped, released. I doubt it is unchangeable, uncleansable.
The magic may be cleansed, yes. But I don't think any of us can even begin to anticipate the mind of a 1,000-year-old torture victim might produce. It might be better to just lay them to rest and call it that.
I suspect that without the sustenance that the building itself offers in some strange way, they would pass on. Similar to how the shadow around these dissipates when we destroy them. But that is mere hypothesis on my part.
Well, let's get to the bottom and kill the damn thing.
Let's.
You get a slight sense from Ashal of, yeah, typical like melee user, doesn't understand anything beyond hitting things, but
Typical jock. Okay.
This fan is trying to take off. Why do you struggle?
The only comfort in this dark dungeon is that of the laptop fan.
and this tree root.
Yeah, in some places, the plant roots just break through the walls with incredible strength.
Too big to get in here.
I mean, you
There's
can
some
technically squeeze
glitchy
into
shadows
space
down there.
5 foot smaller, but
I'm gonna fix that real quick.
A tree root being here is quite interesting.
It's definitely showing strength.
Someone just went down the road, just going honk, 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 honk.
I'm sure they had a good reason.
Unseen.
Hearing it through your mic, I thought it was just.
Oh, did you really?
I thought it was
Yeah, I heard
ambience
that too.
in the dungeon. Yeah, it was kind of haunting.
Yeah, now we're gonna get to the death clown.
Yeah, that was
We've
the
warmed
curse
up.
car, guys.
I've done the serious bit, and now we're gonna have the frickin'
The curse clown car.
the curse clown car.
are these
Oh darn!
cells?
Yeah, these look like cells. Any?
Oh god!
Okay, at this point, we can just use the same initiative from before. I'm gonna re-roll monster initiative though.
But I rolled so
There
poorly.
Clarice.
Yeah, the cell walls are extremely old and worn, and they would have just been like metal bars anyway, and mostly have just kind of now they're just open toothed mouths. Oh, I dropped my dice. Oh well. So they're not really, there's not really much of like a door or anything to get in the way, but there are inmates. And there are inmates that are fairly quick to move at that too. We'll swoosh through the turn order as it essentially gets a surprise round. This one in particular. But you do start to hear as you have that moment. It's actually quite funny because Bogdan turns, sees, it's like, and then Ashal goes like at the same time. And then you do start to hear it again, the murmuring, crying. Leave this place. Leave. Etc. etc. You get it.
He looked legitimately minorly perturbed by that. He like went.
Good.
He like
Someone has to
recoiled
react.
slightly.
But Bogdan, you can easily like deflect the awkward blow from the creature as it comes close. Tumulus. You hear but you would hear the scrape of claws on metal.
Hey, it's a tumulus kind of day. I don't have reach.
Nope.
You can get it as far as the MCC.
So I could take the shove action on Bogdan.
Jump on my shoulders.
You could move past Bogdan to see if there's anything further ahead.
There might be some. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Just
Coming through.
Just coming through. I think that's probably my movement as well. Where I. One.
Yeah, it's difficult terrain to move through someone like that.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Done. I'm guarding your flank. There's a lot of it. If you don't mind me saying.
Just rude. Bogdan! So not only do you have to deflect this creature, Tumulus is just fucking like fat-shaming you, yeah.
I'm sorry, but Big Booty Bogdan is done for me now, that's it.
Put that on the wiki, in the trivia section. Two Bogdan's friends. Known as Big Booty Bogdan.
Oh, lovely. There's a fresh monster on the turn order, and I can't see it.
It's probably not fresh.
Not
It's
spoiler, it's
probably quite
literally
old.
up there. Ollie, what fresh hell do you have for us next?
Well, you're in fresh hell.
Oh.
There was even a cooled chest up there.
Wait, does that make Bogdan a fresh prince?
Who's going
Oh
of
my
hell air? Yeah.
You hit the creature! Roll damage, please.
Psychic damage for that joke.
I mean, like, the jokes have been good today, but I'm still mad. They're better jokes than there were, like, 2 weeks ago. The quality is higher.
we really hit rock bottom a few weeks ago.
Ollie, you knew the second you brought it up.
I didn't think. I thought about whether I could. I didn't think about whether I should.
I mean, the jokes really brought us to a standstill.
Okay.
This whole stream.
All right, that's me.
Ocean, what would you like to do?
Ocean's going to move forward as far as they can. Oh no, too far. The tum just crushes as shell for a moment.
It's like a balloon noise as the pregnant belly like rubs up against the side of a shell.
And
All of Charles' hair stands on end.
What hair?
Yeah,
It's all
all about
tentacles.
Charles' hair.
all the tentacles just go.
He does do electric stuff. What'd you like to do, Ocean?
This is so difficult. Fine, I'm gonna squish a shawl
Yeah,
to get a better and I'm gonna try.
I'll allow it.
Am I within stabbing distance?
No, unless you'd need a spear, like a long weapon, like a pike, to do something like that.
Guiding bolt.
Oh hell yeah, you can do guiding bolt. That's a horrible roll, but it's still a hit.
Yay!
Wow.
Oh, she's
Nice.
gonna go. Wait, which level should I do this at? I assume.
You
level
decide when you cast the spell. So if you didn't say otherwise, you would be probably casting it at first level. But remember, you need to declare that before or as, not before when you decide whether or not it hits or not. 'Cause otherwise, you can
Sorry,
scam it.
I just don't really realize when it's gonna come up with a.
No, it's a bit because it does it differently for different spells as well. I get it.
Yeah. But yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Pew pew.
That's really high damage too. That's actually really good.
Why didn't I do guiding bolt more often?
Because it costs a spell slot.
yeah.
Tumulus, as you get Bogdan, as you get ready to prepare another strike, Ocean's guiding magic can kind of eke around the corner, and the creature is, again, it's going to be kind of soothed. It's kind of jerky, aberrant, terrified. Ratner corner motions will just kind of quiet down, and the creature will slump into the corner in maybe the most comfortable position something like that could be.
Rest.
It does the Terminator. I won't be back.
Ashal, what would you like to do?
Can I hear anything?
You can give me a perception check.
Sweet ears.
Yeah.
Do you even have ears, Ashal?
I was just about to posture on that. It probably has like the ear spots that like toads have.
Aww.
No. The constant screaming and crying from the inmates is pretty hard to hear over. Even though it's not like loud, it's just ever present. And it suits around the corners.
So because that you described that as coming down. So there is still clearly creatures in the area.
The inmates are still crying and sobbing. You can still hear them close, probably in cells ahead. You don't need a check for that. You can't hear anything beyond that.
Fair enough. I cannot really go first. I do not want to get attacked by something. I am going to stand here. I will prepare a mind sliver for an enemy coming into view.
Okay. Well, guess what, Ian? An enemy comes into view.
Oh, handy.
Oh my god.
Kind of hissing around the corner. Hey, it's gonna save.
I mean, it was only 1 damage anyway. So.
It's a thought that counts. And they count the thoughts. Now this one actually did have enough movement to make an attack, and it's going to be at Ashal. Ashal, what's your AC?
10.
Whee! 10? That's a hit.
Yeah.
It's going to be 3 bludgeoning damages. It's like you're trying to keep in a safe position, but it gets up close and it does like this thing where it like lurches with one arm, almost like someone reaching through the bars of a jail cell, and just manages to like grab and squeeze your arm before both you and it break away. Tumulus.
What do they smell like?
That's a good question. To Ashal, they smell like shadow magic. Shadow magic has this clean smell. It smells like antiseptics and medical equipment.
Oh.
So for Ashal, you'd notice that. Everyone else probably would be more. There's like this stale smell, slightly earthy when you're near this area where the wall kind of collapsed and the roots are growing through. You might get elements of that shadow smell when they're lurching near you, but not too much. Of course, Ashal is now attuned to it very tightly. Tumulus.
Tumulus.
Tumulus Sextus Domitius. There's one in each hand right now.
Balanced diet.
These foods and he eats it.
Feeds a family of 3, feeds a family of me.
Can I take
That's quite good. I've not heard
I use that one a lot.
Can I take the shove action to shove him 5 foot this way?
Yeah. Oh, the one below you want to put them both in a line.
Does.
Yeah, that's an athletics. It's basically a grapple. Same rules as a grapple. Ooh, baby is tough.
14.
Yeah, kind of. You've actually seen them do this before, where they don't move with natural, like, you apply force to them and they don't react properly. So, like, you can kind of, like, try and get a solid shove on the thing, and it just does not move right. You can't predict the way that even physics will apply to such a corrupt creature.
Well, that's my turn.
They're the honeybee of monsters.
Bogdan, yeah, of course.
All right. I do have reach, so I'm gonna strike at the guy next to Ashal.
Good bet. Very sensible.
I missed.
Stab Ashal.
Oh, you don't stab Ashal, but it is close.
Revengeance.
It's probably one of those things where, you know how I mentioned the thing reached at you and, like, grabbed? Where, like, the axe is coming for the hand of the thing, and Ashal is in the hand of the thing, and the breaking away is gives just enough clearance that Ashal doesn't get hit, but the creature doesn't get hit either.
That's me.
Don't like it. There's something on the turn order. I don't like it.
At the very edge of some of your guys' vision, some of you can't see out that far in the darkness, but you do hear the pattering footsteps that aren't scratching along the floor awkwardly.
Oh my god. What is it with everyone covering their faces with weird junk?
Yeah, well, you know, elves.
You're behind in the
God, just like
a humanoid figure wearing a hood with this long scroll essentially covering their face, coated in symbols in silver, will kind of move and shift, and seeing the lot of you, they're going to flex and pull magic. You see dark roots pulling from the ground and twist around them like the roots of trees, but bathed in darkness, leaving this trail of glimmering light, but also just dripping. And that gonna coalesce in their hands and then be pushed through the air towards you. I'm going to need Tumulus, Bogdan, and Ashal to make me, let's say, strength saving throws. This is like a big, chunky ball of writhing magic.
Can I help Ashal just because I'm stood behind them?
Nope.
And they would like be pushed against my body and be like...
It might be a pull.
You do have Bless on them, which is already a big help.
Surely that would have dropped.
You didn't actually wait. You didn't take any time between areas, really. You had a very brief conversation about darkness.
I can roll it, but I don't think it's gonna help.
Roll!
Yeah, go on.
Jacken might want to roll Bless dice.
Let's see if the DC is less than 5.
Oh.
it might be 3.
Tumulus can brace themselves and handle. It's like one of those things where, like, the wave of magic goes through you and you feel it chilling your very bones and soul. And Tumulus, it almost doesn't harm them. But for Bogdan and Ashal, you feel this weighty hex upon you, and you're going to have disadvantage on wisdom saves for the foreseeable future. The humanoid, the spellcaster, the witch, does not move after doing that. Ocean.
Yeah. I can't actually see anything, so I'm just going to try and stabby stab this one.
How? Throw a dagger?
Am I close enough to lean over him and do a
No,
jab?
you need a weapon with reach for that.
But I am reach.
No, that's not a thing in D&D. That's a thing in older editions of D&D, whereas you got larger, your reach increased, but that put complications on things like enlarge, so it's not actually a thing in D&D 5e.
In some sense, you have reach because your token takes up extra squares.
Yeah.
So
You have influence on more squares just for being large. If you want to use this strategy more in combat, you would want to invest in a reach-based weapon, which I think the only one you can actually have is maybe a type of spear.
Be a bugbear.
That's a
Maybe
hit.
not. Oh! Phew.
They don't really try to dodge.
Do you want to sick these little monsters? Huh? No?
Okay.
It's quite rare to do as much damage as the attack roll was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, that's... Yeah, the dagger kind of... It doesn't, like, sink in or anything, but even just throwing one of these large ocean-sized daggers is like... I mean, one thing is, we don't really need to worry about Ocean losing their daggers either, because they're big enough to just pick up. Like, they're not like irregular daggers where it's like, oh, where did they go? It's like, no, there it is. It's huge. As Charles, feeling a curse upon ye, and a creature still lurching towards you occasionally, what would you like to do?
I don't like using all my spell slots this early in the dungeon.
Yeah.
I've already used like 3 of my 6 total or something.
Can't you do a sorcery point thing?
I used the problem is I used sorcery points on a twin spell to hit these guys when we were coming in.
Yeah, I thought about that.
Justice prevails.
Well, actually, what I can do, I mean, acid splash. They're not within 5 feet of each other, I suppose. Technically, are they?
No, they are. They are measurably within 5 feet. They're not within 5 feet engaged in melee, but they are measurably within a 5-foot AOE. Yeah.
Okay, then I will hit these 2 things.
Oh, it doesn't hit Tumulus. That's impressive. Dexterity saves. 1 success, 1 failure.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Probably I should have just disengaged and run. Oh well. Too late now.
Yeah,
Why
you could
are
have...
you being that annoying one from Demon Slayer
I'm-
who gets cool, but after a long, long time?
that was a genuine. That was a genuine. That was a genuine. Just I was like momentary. I just want to attack these things. It's not a.
Well, you're going to get hit again, Ashal. This time for 6 damage. Tumulus up there is also going to get hit for 7. This is bludgeoning. But I don't believe you're currently raging. Wore off. But it is your turn next. And they're just right now, they're just a wall of clawing, pushing, sometimes pulling hands. It's very discordant. Like, they don't have one clear strategy, it keeps changing. But there is an intelligent-ish to the way they fight. It's just... It's not even 5D chess, it's like they cut multiple chessboards up and I've kind of thrown it at you. My... What's up?
No, have you seen the clip of the guy who invented the next generation chess? And he like puts a piece on it and it falls apart and he goes, as you can see, it's a piece of shit, and that's the end of the clip.
There's a game on Steam right now called 5D Chess plus Multiverse Theory. And it is...
What?
It's a chess game where you play chess in multiple realities at once. In multiple timelines.
And in another reality, you have a life.
We're playing D&D on stream.
I'd like to bump
That's a
this.
form of a life.
During a pandemic where we only get to see each other through stream.
I'm not going to judge people for enjoying 5D chess with multiverse theory.
No, it sounds really cool. It's just the fact that it's multiverse is hysterical. What else are you doing in the real multiverses? Something else.
I'm watching a cat that's
Bonk
watching
this man.
Yeah. That's a hit, that's damage, is good damage. Doesn't take
It's
it
a
down.
cute cat, right? Artie, do you want to be cute for Ian?
Well, while that's happening, Bogdan, do you want to do anything?
I do indeed, good sir. I wish to slash.
Mm-hmm.
I wish to not roll a 1. Thank you, game.
It is the only way you can miss. As the math cut rolls out, that is a hit.
Oh,
That's good damage. but it doesn't go down. It does that same kind of almost like a deactivated machine for a moment. For just kind of like someone waking up from a nightmare. It kind of grabs at the walls and pulls itself back up.
Why'd you have to include me in that? All right,
Yeah,
I'm done.
The strange figure at the end of the hallway is going to vanish.
I don't like that.
They're scared. Scared of us. They just saw Team Bogmillus. Tumdan. Tumdan. Just really slap some zombles about.
I thought you were going to call it Team Bonk, and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. No, that's way, way worse.
I like Tumdan.
Alright, Ocean, please. Please. Anything. Bogulus.
So, would Shield of Faith be able to do a dome?
Shield of Faith does exactly what it says in the spell description. The appearance is
like,
irrelevant.
It's plus 2 AC.
It counts as cover mechanically, giving a +2 AC. It doesn't have any... It's not a physical shield that...
Yeah, it just says surrounds a creature, so
Yeah.
it's like...
It does exactly what it says. It gives +2 AC to the creature.
Creature?
Yep. Target a creature of your choice within range.
Damn it. No.
Yeah. That's the explicit purpose of Shield of Faith. Single target armor class buff.
Okay. I'm going to hang on to that and...
Which is pretty useful because Ashal has a armor class of 10.
Yeah.
Don't waste your spells trying to boost a bad armor class like that.
I was gonna say that's like
Sunk
You know-
cost fallacy.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just gonna huck another knife.
How many knives do you have left?
It's one from my shin. She has just like per limb, but not a spider limb.
Alright. Keep track, because you do have only a certain amount of throws you can do per combat.
Okie dokie.
That is a hit. Is it on the bottom one?
Getting the good rolls.
Was it on the bottom one? Or the top one?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was very confused about this one.
Yeah. That's the bottom, the other one's the top. They're married. I couldn't resist. Either you were going to make that reference, or I was going to make that reference.
Steering up to it.
Yeah.
Wow,
Okay.
That shows what low hanging fruit was, because I'd already thought
It's
about it and thought, nah.
Not lower hanging fruit, it's we're on the same wavelength. Ashal, speaking of wavelength, what wave... what are you doing?
Action to disengage.
No.
Squeeze past Ocean.
No, I'm too big. Can I contest this with
Ocean,
my huge arm?
another player can choose not to let you go past them. Yeah.
Fine! In that case, I'm going down here!
Going into the cell, which is way worse, but it is what I wanted you to do,
No,
just because
if
it's
you're-
hilarious.
If you're blocking me off, I'm going down here!
It's way worse. I love it. But the inmates would have to get past Tumulus to get to Ashal, so they're going to swing at Tumulus. First one misses, second one hits for 5 bludgeoning on Tumulus. Tumulus.
You could
Bonk time.
Yeah.
be the only one to survive.
Bonk.
Oh god, it's so surreal. The new mic thing makes me whisper silent when I'm not speaking. I'm used to seeing a little, like, firelight on my audio, like a little candlelight of audio from just an ambient hum, but now there's nothing, and I was like, am I dead? But no. Maybe I'm more alive than I ever was before.
Tell me
That's
that's
a-
you are dead,
offensive.
Ollie.
That's a hit. Who was it on? The top or the bottom?
That one.
Okay.
Bonk. He's the one I hit last time.
Yep. That's
I like to be-
going to take them down. It takes a bit.
Excellent.
Their neck is going
I like
to just
speed.
all the way around, and
Oof.
they're going to tumble.
That's what consistent bonking will do for you.
Call your doctor if you bonk more than 4 hours a day. Anything else?
No, because I don't really just want to take a free attack of opportunity, so
Yeah.
I'll hand it over to the other half of Team Bogulus.
I'm at least glad that it's Team Bogulus, not the other one you mentioned earlier, which was offensively bad. At least Bogulus kind of sounds like it could be the name of like a little imp.
Yeah.
I am Bogulus.
First of all, never call our love an imp. Second of
In
all,
many
I gotta-
ways, sometimes love can be an imp, okay?
It's got wings, it can go invisible, it's got a poison.
That's a hit.
Look at that, perfectly balanced damage.
As all things should be.
But the creature does not go down. It takes the strike. Twisting,
What if-
moving, shifting.
What if I say please?
There's no rule. There's no rule in the books about please. There probably is.
This monster does not have please protection.
There probably is in like the early part of the DMG. It's like, remember to be polite. I'm like, yeah, okay. Fuck you. Ocean. This one inmate refuses to go down.
I feel bad being so huge. Oh shoot, is just like arms to wall and just gonna try and when
It has started to get low here too.
Oh no.
Shin steps
Like-
forward and looks at Charlotte in his cell, like, having fun there?
If you like drop something down the side of a desk and you have to like
Oh no, I hate that.
just
Oh,
gotta try and get that dagger back.
yeah,
Can I-
you can actually. It is an action. To
Rush someone
that.
to death by accident.
what? Excuse me?
I'm worried about like my circle overlapping.
Yeah,
too much.
mechanically that's not meant to happen. But you
okay,
can
'cause Bogdan is
squeeze
small.
into a size half your size, so I'll like allow it.
Okay.
But it's not recommended. It may cause adverse effects.
Bogdan just has a tum and like an armpit, just like.
Oh no.
Oh, he's very sharp.
I'm trying to fight here!
And then
You're all
she's just gonna like
squeezed in.
the dagger at the other one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're within range to just stab.
Stab! Ooh! I'm so sorry, you didn't
Yeah.
even say if it landed or not.
It was a miss.
It was a
Oof.
miss, yeah, because I didn't even register that it was a 2. That sucks.
Don't you
It's a
have
2.
devotion? Does devotion work on attack rolls?
Devotion is only saves.
Yeah.
But it
Missy.
saves for like 24 hours.
Uh-huh.
She's too big. She's like.
You're weirdly better at throwing knives than like stabbing with them.
Yeah.
Much more personal when you got to stab.
Yeah.
She like
Ocean
tries
likes
to
to be
stab
removed
in
from the
the head,
violence.
but that like fuzzy thing is like misleading.
Oh yeah. Ashal.
I'm just. I could mind slither around the
You're just
corner.
gonna like cast a spell around a corner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's going to fail. It's going to take that damage. And nothing happens.
Did you roll the d4?
If it was a 4, it actually would have killed it. It was a 3. Good check, though.
My pog face was prepared.
Yeah, that would have been... I mean, it wouldn't have been cool. It would have been something, though, you know?
A wholesome pog face.
Speaking of wholesome, the creature is going to strike out towards Oshun. What is your armor class?
It is 14.
Oh, it's gonna miss. It does like it's a notable, like it goes to striking on Tumulus to just kind of lurching and grabbing towards Ocean, but it
Can
fails.
she just kind of use her elbow? She's like stabbing and then just sort of like holding it back.
Kinda. Tumulus. As it just like cries at you.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. These things, they just need to bonk.
It's an attack.
It's a hit.
It's a hit. You
I've
should
worked
be
out their
proud
AC.
about it. Yeah, the AC, the lowest mechanically possible.
Didn't even roll. Bless.
That's my
He's
disrespect.
getting cocky.
That is my.
Yeah.
I naturally induced the feat where you take a -5 for a +10.
Yeah.
What was it called? Great weapon, man. I don't know. I can't
Weapon
remember.
master, yeah.
You crunch the
Full
thing
shot.
beneath the sensor. Its legs go in 2 different directions as it crumples to the floor.
It's crying on Ocean's arm, and then it splatters all over Ocean.
And she's like, embrace the void.
Oh my god, we chained Ocean. I'm not sure we should have brought.
Yeah, let's bring the hopeful priestess of love and life into the
Love
terror dungeon.
She's just gone like, everyone is entitled to a
To
wonderful life.
die. Yeah.
The circle of life includes death.
Exactly, that is Ocean.
We
She loves them so much she doesn't want them to suffer. And there's literally no helping these things. So it's the point where the best thing to do is let them sleep forever.
Agreed.
Are we still in turn
Nope.
order, or
There appears to be... You actually... The sound that, once you became aware of it, of the death train... No, of the inmates has now ceased. At least for now.
Yeah, because they all went on board the death train.
Yeah, there's... Yeah.
we should be cautious how we approach. The other one seemed different. This is where you say yes, Captain.
not much of a follower?
Seems like there are multiple directions in which we could go.
I do not believe that is a direction. It comes out in the same area that Tumulus and Bogdan are going.
Ashar seems well
Acquainted with the sounds. I don't say that. I really hope this spellcaster, and I quote spellcaster because it was said to be a spellcaster, doesn't know like Fireball or Agonizar's Scorcher or
Yeah, and
any
that
other
feeling...
such.
That feeling, as Shalom Bogdan hasn't left. You still feel heavy-souled.
Oh, look, a door.
Yeah?
How about we just speed this up? Oshun will pick you up and just yeet you.
Valid option.
You want to go open the door?
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the way you said that, but yeah.
I'm going to take a step back, actually.
Wow, instant fear.
What is that?
Those are like... debris.
Yeah, this seems to be like a caved-in area. Actually, this seems to be near, like, maybe the entrance to a stairwell to another part of the
So
place.
the red thing isn't anything?
It might be something. Why don't you give me an investigation check?
I will investigate.
Oh boy.
At the same time, Bogdan is going to open the door.
Bogdan at the door. Ocean at the
Bogdan at
nondescript
the
red
door.
thing. It's stuck
It
in
takes-
the middle with the shell.
It takes you a moment, Ocean. It's a foot. Further
sorry, I
up
just
these
distracted by a
stairs.
comment.
Further up these stairs, on the other side of this blockade, may be a body. This is the only part of the body that comes through, but it's a body the same proportions as Ocean. Well, maybe without the belly, but it's the same size as your foot, more or less. Maybe a little bigger.
She's gonna hold up. her
Yeah,
foot
because
and
that's
be
what
like,
Zoe would do. I know you would do. They're like, samesies. But it's the only part of the body that's here. If, you know, higher up, there might be the rest. But it's red. It's red skin.
I guess.
I relay this.
Sorry, I've got...
Ocean's like-
There's a multiple step process to doors now, and I hate it. But I made it.
Is
Wait,
that-
Oh! Please roll initiative. Ocean, no, you're not getting rid of that one. You absolutely did actually do that. You know what? Friends. Comrades. Family. Why don't we roll initiative next week?
No, I've done it. Just
bad.
to cuck you, but I'm glad that I rolled poorly. I'm gonna roll again properly
Well, we'll
next week.
see. We'll see if I remember or not. Yeah, I think we should roll initiative next week as Ocean rounds the corner and sees two man-sized, walking, hunched insects with shells of shade.
Ooh.
But that's a problem for
I
next
see.
week, right?
I guess Bogdan's gonna get some new armor.
Ooh.
That's a problem for next week, says Charles.
That's a problem for next week. Everyone take a week, take 5, chill, get something to eat.
I'm so invested though.
Yeah,
Can't we, like-
I would also like to keep going. My physical meat body would not.
Okay.
In that case,
The spirit
It is
is
fine.
willing, the flesh is spongy and bruised.
Yeah, and Jaken is still suffering from his oak ailment, and I'm
The
still
oaken
quite frankly,
hex.
I'm reeling from the ericking that he visited upon me earlier. Quite frankly, shook me to my core.
it's sounding strangely sexual.
It did sound that. Is Bogulus
Yeah.
more?
You're only
beneath
saying
the
that
eye?
because we coined Bogulus this session.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting down some hints. But I thought the ship was Tumulus and Ashal. I don't know what's going on here.
Ashal's going down a path that that's not alive.
Oh no!
Literally, it's
Ashal is
it's
straight.
Follow.
All right. Don't worry. Straight people don't exist. Don't worry. We could be comfy again. That was a great session. We don't do that many slow dungeon crawls with secrets and corners.
That's because we
and I
got
was
Ian over here.
You've got Ian over here fucking you up. But it's great for Jaken, your character being a smart warrior. I mean,
with reach
built
like
for
1 1 to 1 in a
dungeons,
dungeon.
more or less, right? Yeah. I don't know why I rolled I didn't tell it. Apparently, I rolled a d4. I don't know what happened there.
Well,
The game's
well.
regaining sentience. We gotta bail.
Shut it down.
Shut it all down. Jaken, why don't you talk a little bit about yourself and your show for the people at home, or wherever they may be. You could watch this anywhere else other than home. I don't know.
He's not the
Just
police.
as long as you're not hiding.
Not a cop.
JP.
Hi, I'm Jaken. I'm the Dungeon Master over at Dire Roll. You can find me at twitch.tv/JakenSoul, which I'm typing. And normally we play every Sunday at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time, but we won't be playing this next Sunday. Hopefully we'll be back on the 4th because we didn't play last Sunday because I was sick. So
Oh, no.
we're on a 2-week hiatus
Yeah.
right now, which sucks. But
2 weeks
hopefully we'll be
sucks
back
for
on the-
shows.
Yeah.
Some
We'll
blue
be
dice.
back on the 4th, and we're at the. It feels like we're kind of in the third act of the campaign, so they're tying up some loose ends violently, as it often is.
I like that.
And that's me.
Okay. After that is Neil. What do you have going on, my friendo?
You can also find me in a couple of other places. One of which Ian will tell you about later, but we leave that to build the mystery. And the other one is twitch.tv/Daleric, where we're just ending up a campaign that's Pathfinder, currently in the astral plane. I wrestled an intellect devourer as a kitsune, 1v1 expecting to die, and then a flumph coup de grace.
Man, I love that anime.
You know,
I'd have got frigging had my brain eaten again.
it was beautiful, really. Like the coup de grace rules, like I had it pinned and I was desperately just trying to deal as much damage as I could before my character died, because it was expected. And then this little flump thing comes over and deals 2d4 damage. And because of how coup de grace rules work, you roll a fortitude save. And this thing has a +7 on the fortitude, needing to be a 16 DC, reasonably easy. And it failed, so it instantly died, which was glorious.
Tune in for a good time.
Indeed. There was some screaming.
Well,
Your cat loved you for that.
somewhere where there isn't some screaming is Ian and Zoe, the people.
I
They-
don't comment on that.
They smiled at each other like, should we tell them?
They are not ready.
They cannot comprehend.
We are effectively two random people who happen to know Ollie and therefore are on Ollie's streams. Although Zoe has things going on with some of Ollie's other work, and I am also on the Monday game, which Neil is also a part of. That is on Patreon, on Ollie's Patreon. It's back to $5. Is it back to $5 a month?
It's back to $5 a month. There is a certain amount, not of the current campaign, which is $1 a month. So if you want to actually find out if you like it, if you go back with a $1 a month subscription, there is some of the last campaign, like basically a whole arc of that, maybe an arc and a half, is free.
The current campaign does have a couple of new people, and as a result has a bit of a different feel, and it is very fun, and you get a combination of hijinks on high seas, emotional trauma, and
An otter trying to run a business.
yeah, that as well. So it's a pretty typical D&D campaign.
It's even got like characters who aren't very good at keeping secrets. That's
Yes.
that's always good. That's when you know you've got like a classic style D&D campaign, because in like one of these ones that's very roleplay focused, they're good at keeping their secrets and it won't come out for ages. But in a classic one, it's like a whoops, accidentally told you my history backstory. Ooh, you know, like
Backstory.
yeah, which is great.
Just flash a little bit of the leg, you know.
A little bit of that backstory leg. That game's really good. If you're curious about the Isle of Tron, which has been mentioned a bunch of times, this campaign is focused all around it and the peoples in the area. Yeah, it's cool. It's one of those places that really deserved like a proper fleshing out. But I have lots more to tell you about. For there are grand things occurring. Here at twitch.tv/OllieRant, there is greatness. Not only is there this show,
You must find the Holy Grail.
yeah, what he said. This show, Patreon, lots of Jarviskjir Extended Universe, Schism. Me and Zoe are working together on a board game series. There's actually been a post lately on the Board Game Geek that you should follow if you are interested in the grand power of Schism. There are lots of images about the miniatures there. I'll go back to normal. But basically, follow us on there about that's what Zoe's working on. The game is going to be very soon. And that is the first of many sets. It's no secret that one of the other sets in Chapter 1 is going to be connected to the Underrealm in some way. And there's a lot of stuff coming in the future of Schism. We're really excited about it. And additionally, I am on the Friday Fable Scraps show. Fable Scraps Doom Lore. I run it. It is a Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy campaign, where at this point, the characters, I've got as many reoccurring villains as, like, they have party members. And the shit just keeps adding up because it's a Warhammer game, and the odds are insurmountable. And let's see what they can do. Yeah, it's really good. There's a lot of really good stuff going on. We might soon get back into more regular streaming. I've had to take a long break, but this show will still be weekly. And there's a lot of other stuff going on. I'm also going to be working more on the ASKII wiki. If there are people who like the show and like the universe who want to get involved, do let us know on the Discord as well. The Discord is also a good place to chill and hang out. Mostly memes. Mostly memes. Occasionally lore questions. Occasionally screenshots of people's faces. That's that. We'll let you go now. We'll see you later. And we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye. Do you think we should have like a Bogulus pose,
No.
What's the team from Dragon Ball Z?
I'm cutting your audio now.